I can't do it. We'll do it live. Okay. Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
This is Snowman in the Morning, and it begins now.
That's a spicy meatball!
Need a little excitement?
Excuse me, bitch?
You know what? That makes me mad.
I ask myself, is it worth it? I answer myself, yes, it is worth it.
Did you not get the memo?
Where else can you hear Daffy Duck, Stacey King, a clip I found, or that was sent to me a couple of years ago, all in one place? You can hear it here on Snowman in the Morning as we are on the road again. And I didn't greet y'all properly, and in case you can't see me, I'm trying something new here with Facebook Live. But to do this properly, good morning. How are you guys doing today? I'm doing fine. Welcome to Snowman in the Morning on the road yet again. We're in the process of putting our studio together, and I know a lot of people are watching the Facebook Live feed right now. If you're not, please tune in. You can tune in with our audio feed as well. It's Tuesday, and I got a lot on my mind for this first segment. I got Matt Granahan coming on at 9:35 to talk media hypocrisy and Kanye West, and that conversation is going to get fairly interesting. And then I got Michael Lau coming at the bottom of the second hour to talk mental illness in the black community. I hope we can connect this time. We had some problems. We tried to record yesterday, but we had some problems, but we're going to get through it. Now, I'm sorry I'm late, and I'm sorry y'all had to see that on the Facebook Live video. Now, let me jump right into this. The Toronto Raptors are finito, done, erased out of the NBA playoffs thanks to LeBronto and a 128-93 thrashing of the top-seeded Toronto Raptors. Now, I'll get to LeBron in a moment. What does this say about the Toronto Raptors? That they are the most fraudulent, they are the most fake, and the most false number one seed in NBA playoff history as far as I'm concerned. Toronto and Cleveland have played 3 straight series in the playoffs, and Cleveland's won every time. The Raptors had a chance this year to make a statement, and they didn't. As a matter of fact, they had a chance to show why they were the number one seed, why they won 59 games, and why they were supposedly the better team than the Cleveland Cavaliers. Game 1 should have been a Toronto victory, but Toronto made a critical mistake when it came to LeBron James. They took their foot off the pedal. And once you take your foot off the pedal against an opponent whom you have a chance to bury, and you let them back in the game, you have every right and every reason to lose. And except for Game 1, which was an overtime victory, and Game 3, in which Toronto came back from a deficit, and it took a buzzer beater by one LeBron James to win the game, and I'll get to that a little later. Who's watching me here? Sean Griffin, what's up, man? I'm checking out the Facebook Live as I'm opening the show here. You got every right to lose when you take your foot off the pedal when you have an opponent down. Earlier this year, the Golden State Warriors learned that lesson as they led Houston by 14 on championship ring night, and they lost by 1. Cavaliers won their game in overtime. And you had a sense, you had a feeling that the series just shifted on that one game. But a lot of people said, oh, that's just one game. Toronto will bounce back. They never did. Because Cleveland went ahead and beat them by 18 points in their own house. Then won the buzzer beater game in Game 3. And then they got absolutely destroyed by 35 points in Game 4. If Toronto had a chance to steal a game in this series, it should have been Game 1. Because they were gassed. LeBron was gassed. The Cavaliers had just come off a grueling 7-game series against the Indiana Pacers, and you better watch the Pacers next year. Who's this? Ricky Sanchez, Vashawn Jones. What's up, brothers? Ricky Sanchez, the man in charge of Full Armor Worldwide. Check him out at fullarmorworldwide.com. Vashawn Jones, one of my favorite friends, and I love tuning into his work. But Toronto should have stolen Game 1 and established control in Game 1 of the series, and they didn't do it. Why, you ask? Once again, they took their foot off the pedal. And let me speak on the issues, and yes, I said issues, that are 3 people: Dwayne Casey, DeMar DeRozan, and Kyle Lowry. They put up great numbers during the regular season, but when it comes to the playoffs, they always seem to disappear. Let me be more specific. When it comes to playing the Cleveland Cavaliers, they always seem to disappear. They always disappear. This year was no different. And I'll say it again. They had a chance to establish control of this series in Game 1. I feel if Toronto had won Game 1, they'd still be playing in this series. It would have been at least a 6-game series. LeBron James is superiorly talented. Period. Okay? As much as I like to rant and rave on LeBron James and how fundamentally unsound he is, he's one hell of a basketball player, all right? Got to give credit where credit's due. That fadeaway shot to win Game 3 was just ridiculous. But this is more on Toronto, I feel, for the lack of nerve, for the lack of a killer instinct to take at least one game in this series. Now, granted, they had to come back from 10 down in Game 3. They tied the game in Game 3, but played horrible defense and allowed LeBron a clean look at the rim. A very clean look at the rim. You don't allow a player of LeBron's caliber a clean look at the rim. You just don't do that. But I think it was Game 1 that tore Toronto's hearts out. Game 2 in Toronto took their soul. And they had nothing left against the Cavaliers. Nothing. So this is, I mentioned DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. You know who where the culpability ultimately lies? Dwayne Casey. I believe Dwayne Casey should be fired because you get your team prepared for a wonderful 59-win season. You play 6 games against Washington, and it should have been 4, quite honestly. And then you get, I don't know what kind of word I can use for swept. I mean, it's worse than, it's not just about Toronto getting swept. It's about the fact that the Toronto Raptors were, for lack of a better term, demoralized. They were absolutely demoralized in this series. And I think my mic is too far up. Let me make some adjustments here. They were absolutely demoralized in this series. They had their hearts torn out after Game 1. They had their soul torn out after Game 2. And the fadeaway jumpers LeBron was hitting from absolutely impossible angles. Now, why do I feel this falls on Dwayne Casey? Because you're the head coach. You're supposed to be in your team's head to get them ready to face LeBron James, knowing what the Cavaliers are going to do, knowing what LeBron is going to do and how he plays, and you had no game plan to stop him. None. I have never seen a team play that tentative. And yes, I said it. tentative, scared, petrified. Toronto was absolutely petrified. And if you're the number one seed, you shouldn't fear anyone or anything. Since Cleveland stole game one, you should have said, okay, we're going to get them in game two. And you didn't. Matter of fact, you had the lead in game two, but then LeBron took over. Vashawn Jones has the perfect comment matching the two eras. LeBron owns Toronto just like Jordan owns the Knicks and the Pacers and the Pistons and the Jazz. You gotta get a longer list, Vashawn. But I agree. LeBron owns Toronto the same way Jordan owns the Knicks. And until the Toronto Raptors decide to get someone in their organization that will give Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan that instinct, and until they grow their own instinct and get a coach in there that will help them get that instinct, then Toronto doesn't have a chance in hell of beating them. And I'm just getting a note from my buddy Mike Lyle. Oh, the missus is sick this morning, so he can't make it. So we're going to shorten this to an hour. I know Mike Lyle is listening. Mike, take care of the missus, my friend, and I totally understand. Vashawn added it, and the old Cleveland Cavaliers. You know what? You know what the Cleveland Cavaliers' legacy is? And I'll say this again as I hop on the Cavaliers right now. The legacy of the Cleveland Cavaliers is Craig Elo. Now, as outstanding of a talent, listen to me carefully, as outstanding of a talent as LeBron James is, and he is talented, not saying otherwise, I still don't put him in my top 100 for fundamental reasons and for the reasons I outlined, that Toronto will never, ever beat the Cleveland Cavaliers. Everybody wants to call, and I said this yesterday on the program, everybody wants to call that shot by LeBron one of the greatest buzzer beaters they've ever seen. Yeah, well, in the time I've grown up watching basketball, I've seen a few that have been better. And Jordan hit most of them, okay? That fadeaway shot off the glass, absolutely incredible by LeBron. But as it turns out, it was just Toronto. Let him do that in the finals with a championship at stake. And I've only seen him do that once, and that came in a seventh game against the San Antonio Spurs while he was in Miami. And I don't even give LeBron credit for that, because it shouldn't have been a seventh game. Kawhi Leonard, hit your free throws. It just does not happen that way. So I say again, I still don't put LeBron James in my top 100. And I put that post on Facebook. Oh, the response and the vitriol that I got for saying that. How can you say such a thing? I've been spoiled by better basketball. That's how. I have been spoiled. Absolutely spoiled. Do I need to go down the list? Beginning or ending with Michael Jordan? Let me see. My first ever favorite player was Julius Erving, who hit a buzzer beater against the Boston Celtics in the regular season game. 86 was the year. And then I got hooked on Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers. Loved Moses Malone when he was with Philadelphia. Their backcourt, Maurice Cheeks and Andrew Toney, one of the greatest of all time. There was a fellow named George Gervin who was known as the Iceman, spent a couple of years with the Bulls in the midst of Michael Jordan's injury in 1986. Oh, y'all don't remember that, do you? Let me go one step further. Mr. Charles Barkley graced Philadelphia and Phoenix and Houston before an injury curtailed his career. How about a couple of forwards that I think are underrated? Alex English. Remember that name? Denver Nuggets? And one of the most underrated forwards of all time who became the first to register a triple-double in the 7th game of the NBA Finals. The year was 1988. Do y'all remember a fellow by the name of James Worthy? Big Game James? I remember putting a post up on Facebook a few years ago that said, and I quote, and I still believe, James Worthy is a better forward than LeBron James. The hatred I got for that statement, and I still stand by it. A young lady made a comment. Oh, you're just going to hate. Why don't you go back to dick riding your Warriors? Listen, bitch. Why don't you go back to dick riding LeBron James when he ultimately fails in the finals yet again? Then she decided to quantify it and qualify it, saying, I never said anything about Michael Jordan. Yeah, well, the fact that you're responding in the hateful manner that you are says a lot to me. But I digress. I told my friend Bear this next statement, and he agreed with me. And I know not many people will, but I don't care. The statement is this. I believe there was an underrated forward by the name of Tom Chambers, who's better than LeBron James. Why do I put Tom Chambers over LBJ? How about a jump shot? A consistent jump shot. Now, I want y'all to listen to all this, because as much as I break down LeBron James's game fundamentally, I never said he was not a hell of an athlete. Never said that, never will say that. His talent shines. I know that. But quite honestly, LeBron James needs to learn how to play basketball. And I don't mean putting your shoulder down and bullying your way to the rim just so you can get every call. I don't mean flopping all over the place just so you can get every call. He's done it for 15 years. I'm not talking about walking all over the place, taking 3 steps to the rim and calling it a crab dribble. There's a crab dribble, but there's a correct way to execute it. And that ain't it. You understand? He walks almost every time. I'm not going to say every time. Almost every time he goes to the rim, he takes an extra step. When Kyrie was with Cleveland, he used to do the same thing. And here is a big reason why I do not and will not like LeBron James. 2 years ago, the Cleveland Cavaliers defeated the Golden State Warriors to win the NBA championship. Kyrie Irving hit the game-winning shot, and yet LeBron James was the unanimous MVP. Why? Why was LeBron the unanimous MVP? Why? That was Kyrie's award, and they took it from him and gave it to someone who does not and did not deserve it. Period. Now, I know what you're going to say. Oh, he averaged 41 points in the final 3 games. Shut up. Kyrie got them back in the series. Beginning in Game 5 when both he and LeBron put up 41 points. And the only reason the Cavaliers won that title is because of the absence of Draymond Green in Game 5, which cued him to play a little bit tentative in Games 6 and 7. That suspension should not have happened. And I know I'm going way off tangent here, but I don't care. That suspension should not have happened, and it should have been a 5-game conquest for Golden State. Be that as it may, the Cavaliers won. But again, what pissed me off, and will continue to piss me off, was the fact that Kyrie Irving should have been named unanimous Finals MVP, and they gave it to LeBron, who I feel will never be the face of a franchise again. Now let's see how many comments I get about that. Okay, now that I got that off my chest, I got to take a break. I got Matt Granahan on the way, and I had a second hour planned, but unfortunately my guest, Mike Lyle, had to postpone because his the missus is sick. They're going to the hospital. So, Mike, if you're listening, take care of family first, homie, then get back with me. But I do plan to have him on very, very soon. All right, let me stop talking. Let me go to a break. When we come back, Matt Granahan, oops, wrong button. When we come back, Matt Granahan will join me to talk hypocrisy in media and a whole lot more. Snowman in the morning, back in a flash.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, Coconut Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. HiQ energy drink. Wings are for birds.
The beauty of high school sports is that it gives us a chance to challenge ourselves. You can be an athlete. You can be a parent. You can even be a fan. You can challenge yourself to do the right thing. And when you do, your entire community benefits. Challenge yourself. This message is brought to you by the Illinois High School Association, inviting you to support the athletic and activity events at your local high school. You'll like what you see.
Hey y'all, Snowman here. I've been fighting weight problems for the better part of a decade, but I'm going to tell you somewhere where you can go to start yourself on the road back to fighting your weight problems, losing weight, and getting in better shape. It's called Cleaver Supplements. They've been a proud sponsor of the show and of the network for 2.5 years now. They have great supplements for you and ways to get you recovered after your workout. The Super Swole Serum is one of my favorites. So is the Super Fat Burner. Give them a look right now at CleaverSupplements.com. That's Cleaver, K-L-I-E-W-E-R, Supplements.com.
Carolina Security Consultants is your residential security consultants leader. Our security assessment is custom tailored for each project. Give Danny a call, 336-312-5326. Make sure to tell them 3 and Out sent you.
Who do I perform for? I perform for all the awesome composers whose music deserves to be heard.
I perform for all the stagehands who make sure I never miss a cue.
I perform for our high school choir director who taught me to breathe from the diaphragm and sing from the heart.
Speech, debate, theater, music. The performing arts teach valuable life lessons that typically aren't taught in the classroom. They help high school students learn leadership skills that prepare them to enjoy more satisfying, productive lives.
I perform for Mrs. Evans, my high school debate coach, who has helped me become more confident than I ever dreamed possible.
This message presented by the Illinois High School Association and the high school in your community.
Hey, I've got a question for you. Who will you perform for?
Hey fans, spring is here and Cleaver Supplements invites you to spring into action to get in the best shape of your life. Our supplements and products will help you do just that. You had a good winter season and now it's time to show off and keep that great shape, great attitude, and work on getting even better for your life. Our Fat Burner, Super Swole Serum, and other products will keep you on track to a healthier and happier you. Do it for your family, do it for your friends, but most of all, do it for you. For more information, visit us online at CleaverSupplements.com. Cleaver Supplements, pure supplements for when genetics are just not enough.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Next! What? Are you kidding me? Need a little excitement?
You know what?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Only an hour-long edition today, as my guest for the second hour, Mike Lyle, unfortunately had to postpone due to an illness in his family. We'll get him on very soon. Got Matt Granahan coming in approximately 60 seconds. Got a lot of feedback on the Facebook Live video. It ain't the best, but we're getting it together. As we come to you live from the road again, we're in the process of getting our digs together. It's taken a lot longer than I had anticipated, a whole lot longer than I had anticipated, and I apologize to the folks for that, but I got some great advice from some friends of mine, and the best advice I ever got from my buddy Victor: you already got your foundation, build it slowly. And you know what? They're absolutely right. They are absolutely correct. I'll expand more on this before the end of the show. Again, awaiting a call from Matt Granahan so we can have our discussion, and you can follow us online by using the ID at SIT Morning, and you can follow us on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter using that ID. Also follow the ID at Arena Sportsnet, and for Instagram, it's at Arena Sportsnet 20. Now, where the heck is Matt? I'm waiting on him. Well, we're exchanging messages back and forth right now, but let me expand. Let me expand on what I talked about earlier with LeBron James and his legacy. Everybody wants to paint his legacy after this Toronto series. And I'm saying don't do that. Let him prove himself again in the finals by actually winning one. Now, did he win one with Cleveland? Yes, but he had some help in doing it. Every great champion has help in getting to the promised land. It took Moses Malone to get Julius Erving to the promised land. It took Scottie Pippen to get Michael Jordan to the promised land. It took Magic Johnson to get Kareem Abdul-Jabbar there several times over. You know what? Let me try something here. Because now, Matt's having trouble calling into the hotline. Oh, brother. I think I got him on the line now. Matt, are you with me?
Hey, Brian, what's happening?
What's going on, Your Highness? How are you?
Good. It's good to talk to you. I hadn't talked to you in probably close to a month.
Yeah, it's been a while. Both of us have been fairly busy, but when you brought this subject to me about the hypocrisy of the media and Kanye West, I said, oh, we have to have a conversation about this.
Oh, yeah, we talked on the show about the media hypocrisy, particularly with guests like with Pat Miletich.
Oh, yeah.
A number of times he's brought that up, and with Talib Starks on talking about it. We've had Charles Faulkner talking about it. So, yeah, when I saw this stuff, I said, God, it's only getting worse, and it's crazy how it's never been this way where people are so vicious, one side or the other, and you can't even express an opinion, especially with the control of corporate media. You can't express an opinion, especially if you're black, and that's really ridiculous. It's nuts.
It is nuts.
It's nuts, man. What is your take on this whole thing, Brian?
It's like the corporate media are painting, and I'm going to go there, they're painting men into a corner and don't expect men to come back swinging.
That's right. And I think one of the things, whether you like or you hate Donald Trump, he's done a great job in just not apologizing, not being a weasel. I mean, God, I remember years ago, Don Imus. I lost a lot of respect for Don Imus. I was never a big Imus fan, but my parents always were because he lived in Westport. He made that comment, which he could have made. It was just pretty innocuous.
Right.
Where he said nappy-headed hose about some basketball players. And, of course, you have the race hustlers, like Al Sharpton came after him. At that point in Imus's career, he was set financially. He should have just said, screw you, you know, and not apologized. But he weaseled and apologized. And that's the thing. Trump has shown you don't have to apologize. And, you know, the king never apologizes.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah, I don't believe in that, and I think it's ridiculous. And you know how this whole thing started with Kanye West was he was listening to Candace Owens.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't know the background of Candace Owens. She's an extremely beautiful, intelligent woman, black woman, and it started out, she wanted to expose racists online and people who were going after others and bullying people online. So she was in the process of creating this technology that would identify who these people were if they were going after somebody. And well, here's what happened was the radical liberals warned her. They said, if you do this, these people that are making these racist remarks, they're gonna take you down. You can't do it. And you can't do it. And they were fighting her over it. And she comes to find out the reasons that they were fighting her over it is because they were the ones that were creating fake accounts. They were professional race hustlers. They were the ones that were creating fake accounts. And it was actually them that were stirring it all up. It was nuts. So Candace Owens had a change in her whole philosophy. And it's like, you know, a lot of black intellectuals like Walter Williams and Thomas Sowell had said over the years, if you're black in America and you step off the liberal plantation and you start to think for yourself, they did with Candace Owens. And it's crazy to think that if you're of a certain race, you have to have one political ideology. It's so confining. It is slavery of the mind, and that's what Kanye West was referring to. And he didn't. I don't think he really expressed eloquently enough. There was some gray area there, and of course there's a little gray area, and the media pounces on him for it. He wasn't talking about actual slavery. He was talking about slavery of the mind. And why in the hell, if you're of a certain race, you need to have a certain ideology? It's crazy.
It is crazy. And I can relate to this in this way. You and I have talked so many times on the years we've had at the King's Court, and y'all need to check out the archives. They're going to be updated today. And let me say this. Whenever an election comes along, I have been told by my mother, not by my father, listen carefully, not by my father, been told by my mother how to vote. And the last 4 times, I didn't listen. And I get criticized for that because I do my own research on the candidates, and if I don't feel comfortable, I won't vote for them. Period. This is supposed to be land of the free and home of the brave, and yet when it comes to politics, it's nowhere near that. You know my favorite comedian, Mr. George Carlin.
Oh yeah.
When he said, and I quote, "These elections are a charade. They are a sham because if you do your research, it's the Electoral College who has the final say, not the people." Right. If they really want a radical change for everybody and take race out of the equation, you put the election where it's supposed to belong, in the people's hands.
Yeah, they don't even trust the people, and it's crazy to think that you gotta completely side with one side or the other.
Right.
The crazy thing is talking about slavery. Look at Hillary Clinton. Her biggest accomplishment was overthrowing Gaddafi. And now, in Libya, It's completely a failed state, and there's slavery in Libya now.
Mm-hmm.
After the overthrow of Gaddafi. I mean, that's a big thing of mine is minding our own business, getting out of the Middle East and not being beholden to Israel and Saudi Arabia. And both sides do it. There's corruption on both sides. But when you expose both sides, the media, they ostracize you. They take you out. I mean, look at like on MSNBC. Have you heard of this guy, Thomas Frank?
He's a little familiar to me, yes.
He was on MSNBC, and he wrote 2 books. Well, he wrote the first book was called What's the Deal with Kansas? And it was basically a book all about the Republicans and how to bash in the Republicans, which is fine. You know, he wrote that book, and they loved him for it. They praised him for it. Then he wrote a book called Listen Liberal, which criticized the liberals and the ridiculousness of the neoliberals. As soon as he wrote that book, he's out of MSNBC. He lost his job. He's in England now, you know, working for The Guardian. He couldn't even get a job in American media because it's so controlled, the corporate controlled American media. It's ridiculous. You've got to stay on the plantation, as they say. You have to have a certain ideology, especially if you're black in America, and that is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Completely stifles the whole concept of free thought. You can't think for yourself, and these media folks, especially CNN, and I've said it several times, and it's only gotten worse.
Yeah.
Sit there, and I'm working out at the gym, and I just look up at the headlines of CNN, and it's worse than any Saturday Night Live parody. How much they hate President Trump. They despise the man. Oh, yeah. And they're so blatant about it. And Trump now is in the process of getting peace between North and South Korea. They don't talk about that. They just want to talk about Stormy Daniels. And, you know, ironically, I was going to sue Stormy last year for the carpal tunnel I've been experiencing.
Right. Here's something that you have to think about in terms of Trump. And I've heard this several times over, and you just pointed it out a moment ago. They just want to point out the bad things that happen without doing the research. They want his head on his stick.
Yeah. CNN wants his head on his stick.
Yeah.
It's crazy because Trump was never called a racist before.
Right.
You know, The Apprentice, and you look at all his friends, you know, and in the Mike Tysons, all these folks, that he's got tons of black friends and supporters, but they have this narrative that he's evil and he's a racist, and they want to enlighten the people who voted for him, supported him. That's the mentality that these neoliberals have in the media. It's disgusting.
It is. The control factor is the most disgusting thing. And I'll share this before we go to a break. I've had so many people over the course of my 22-year career ask me, why haven't you worked for ESPN? Why haven't you worked for Fox Sports or Comcast Sportsnet? And the reason is simple. If I worked for any of those stations, it would defeat my purpose when I created Arena Sportsnet under a different name 22 years ago, to have and build and cultivate my own. Period. That's why I stick.
Absolutely, Brian.
That's why I stick with
You've done a great job with it.
Thank you. That's why I stick with this.
I wanted to say too, Brian, is we're going to have to do another King's Court special soon.
Way ahead of you, partner.
Perhaps not on this topic, but we're going to have to do one in the next month or so.
Way ahead of you, partner. Way ahead of you. We are going to do it.
I want to just say one thing too before, as I said, you said you were going to a break, and
yeah,
I want to thank you for having me on. I've got a pretty busy work morning here, but I wanted to say this Saturday night I'll be at the Men's Club in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'll be hosting the UFC party there with none other than the UFC Hall of Famer himself, the American Psycho, Stephen Bonner. I'll be opening up for him for his comedy set, really old school. We're going to do comedy at the strip clubs, which if you go back into Vegas, that was a really big thing in the days of Milton Berle and so forth.
You're going to make me want to come down to Charlotte and check it out.
Oh, it's going to be a good time. Men's club, oh, Brian, I know how you love the boobies. There's some phenomenal boobies there at the men's club.
You know me quite well, sir, quite well. Hey, I appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate the time.
Thanks, Brian. And yeah, share the audio on my wall. I got a ton of people wanting to listen.
Done.
Awesome.
I will cut it and share it, my friend.
Have a great day and great rest of your show.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You know what? Free thinking is just not allowed anymore. It's just not allowed. And that's not right. That is not right at all. A final thought after this.
Sponsored by Unforgettables. Unforgettables creates detailed hand-painted baseballs for every baseball fan. Check them out at unforgettables.com.
This is the King of Connecticut, Matt Granahan. And there's a new sheriff in town and a new king of morning talk. So move over, Howard Stern, Brian Snow, the Snowman, Snowman in the morning. Catch the show every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern.
Some energy drinks want to scare you. Some even want to bully you around. And the others, they're just blowing smoke. Packed with vitamins B3, B5, B6, and B12, the new HiQ energy drink comes available in 4 exciting flavors. Skyberry Fusion, Apple, Coconut Fruit Punch, and Lemon Lime. Natural caffeine, no preservatives, no crash, no bull. HiQ energy drink. Wings are for birds.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes in Illinois are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education. This message presented by the Illinois High School Association and the Illinois Athletic Directors Association.
This is Snowman in the Morning, where true sports talk lives.
Next!
Excuse me, bitch!
Are you kidding me? What?
Man, oh man, had a great time, an absolutely great time on this, what turns out to be a short version of Snowman in the Morning. And I want to thank the folks who tuned in to the first segment when I did it on Facebook Live. I know it was flipped a little bit, but we're trying to get everything together. And Ari Temkin gave me a great suggestion about doing video. We're going to add that, but I want to do it right. But I wanted to put a little teaser out there as to how we're going to do things. And I really hope you all enjoyed it. And it's going up on the YouTube channel, and I really hope that you guys subscribe to the YouTube channel, because there will be more video content from Snowman in the Morning on there, as well as Arena Sportsnet. And I got a personal YouTube channel, and I'll send that out here in just a moment. 7 minutes away from the top of the hour. We're going to get it ready to get out of here because I got a ton of editing to do before I go to work. But I wanted to put this out there. And I posed a question on my Facebook page, and I'm trying to pull it up right now, so give me a moment. I posed a question on my Facebook page. And the question that I posed, and I did it in honor of a dear friend of mine, what work will you put in to either start or continue to build your legacy? And also the post says, Darrell Owen Sr., this is for you, and it is because he gave me a hashtag that says, legacy built over legacy bought. And one of my other dear friends, Shane Lake, the big dog, you'll hear from him later on in the summer, said practice, time, effort, and dedication. Practice, time, effort, and dedication. I'll add a word to that. Patience. My biggest enemy. Patience. I don't have enough patience to save my life, but the last couple of years, I've had to learn it. Simply put, I've had to learn patience. Why did I have to learn patience? Because with what I want to build and the people I chose to build it with me, thought we were on a good track until a few years ago when I got framed, when I got lied on, lied to, and that stuff taken from me. Now please listen carefully. I am not, nor will I ever say that I am without fault. Because believe me, I made some stupid ass decisions in my life. Stupid, absolutely stupid. But I'm still standing, I'm still kicking, and I'm still alive. Because I can't tell you enough, and I'm going to talk about this tomorrow, my fight with depression. I can't tell you enough how many times I wanted to end my life. And I'm being totally serious about that. There have been so many times I wanted to end my life. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to make this another Facebook Live feed as I close out the show here. So, y'all stand by with me, okay? Because, why am I making this a Facebook Live feed? Because people need to hear this. People need to understand where old Snowman's coming from. Now, pay attention, folks. I never said that I am without fault. Believe me, I've made some absolutely dumbified, stupefied, stupid decisions in my life. Absolutely stupid. But there's nothing that says you can't bounce back from them. I've had to start over so many times, it's not even funny. I've taken many a leap of faith. And sometimes I did it without the benefit of a parachute or the benefit of a safety net. But that's how I am. If I see something I want, I go for it. I absolutely go for it. This is no exception. But the leap of faith I'm about to take will not be taken without the benefit of a safety net. At least a month's worth of a safety net. And of course, you all know I'm talking about money. I never had that much money. But then again, never put in enough work to earn it. At least according to a particular hater. My sis, Monica Singh, is watching. What's up, Monica? According to a lot of people, I never put in enough work to have a safety net, and I don't deserve one. Well, in some cases they're right, and in some cases they're wrong. And in some cases, as my friend Kelly said, they're just hating. Hate on, haters. Hate on. Because the biggest thing you can do is learn a lesson from every trial that you go through. Every single one. I've had chances to start over in many a place. Many a place. Wasn't successful every time I tried it. Why, you ask? And I can finally admit this with a smile. Every time I put a plan together, I veer from it. My error. Big time. My error. Life gave me a kick in the ass, and I kicked it back by veering away from what I had planned to do. That's why they made plans in the first place. Write it down and execute it. That's why they have the phrase game plan or the term game plan. I always game plan, but I never did it correctly. That is going to change. And I can't tell you enough. The folks that have truly supported me and my organization through every trial that not only I have been through, but the folks that have supported me and been with me through, I appreciate you guys. I really do. But now it's time for me to get it right. I'm getting old, and I'm tired of starting over. But as an old phrase goes, practice makes perfect. And now I finally get what I have to do. I really do. I don't know why it took me so long. I guess it's because of how bad I wanted this. But I have to remember the way Mike Fratello described Michael Jordan's ascension to a championship. I wanted it so badly that it's not that I didn't trust anybody. I didn't trust the right people. That has come true in the last 3 years. But I'm going to trust them now. And the only way that I trust people now is if they're in it for the ride from the bottom to the top. I'm at rock bottom right now. But I don't have a reason to stay there. And I'm not going to give myself one in self-pity either. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Remember to make your next move your best move. And always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they are not big enough. Chase the fruit at the end of the branch. That's the only way you're going to get it. Until tomorrow, Snowman out.
How about that?